Bangladesh is once again on the boil. Violence has broken out in Dhaka with the death of a youth leader of the country's 2024 pro-democracy uprising. Sharif Osman Hadi, who was injured in an assassination attempt last week, died in a hospital in Singapore. While thousands of protesters took to the streets after the announcement of Hadi's death, demanding that his killers be arrested. Several buildings in the capital, including those housing the country's two leading newspapers, were set on fire. The first attack came on Prothamalo, where the crowd had gone chanting slogans. The crowd vandalized the office before setting it on fire at around 12 a.m. They then vandalized the ground and first floors of Daily Star before putting it ablaze at about 12:30 a.m. The blaze quickly engulfed the two floors, sending a huge column of smoke into the air. The fire service could not reach the building for some time because a crowd blocked their way. The entire night shift fled to the roof to save their lives, pleading for help through phone calls and social media posts. Firefighters eventually reached the site and brought the fire under control at around 2 a.m. However, the journalists could not be brought out immediately because the crowd stormed the building after the fire was extinguished. The House of India's Deputy Ambassador to Bangladesh was also surrounded by hundreds of people who were trying to demonstrate a sit-in, but police lobbed tear gas shells to disperse the crowd. In addition, protesters blocked a key highway leading from the capital and attacked the residence of a former minister in Chittagong. Protesters also attacked Chaya Knot, which is a centre in Dhaka devoted to Bengali culture.
I want to state clearly that Osman Hadi was an enemy of the defeated forces of fascist terror. Any attempt to silence his voice to intimidate revolutionaries will be decisively resisted. The country's march toward democracy cannot be halted through fear, terror, or bloodshed.
Earlier on Friday, Singaporean authorities announced that Hadi died in a local hospital. Singapore's Foreign Affairs Ministry in a statement said it was assisting Bangladesh authorities with repatriating his body. The interim government in Bangladesh, headed by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus, also confirmed Hadi's death. Well, the government also announced special prayers at mosques on Friday and a half-day mourning on Saturday. Bangladeshi police have meanwhile launched a manhunt for Hadi's shooters, releasing photographs of key suspects and offering a reward of $42,000 for information leading to their arrest. And for more details, our Assistant Director for Foreign Affairs, Siddhant Sibal, is now joining us on the phone line. Siddhant, Bangladesh is witnessing significant unrest ahead of the polls, which have only intensified following the death of Osman Hadi, and with protests spreading nationwide and rising anti-India rhetoric. Now, talk to us about the implications of this rampant domestic turbulence.
Well, today will be an important day, how things pan out, because yesterday overnight we saw a lot of visuals of violence across the country. We've seen that the offices of the two large newspapers in the country have also been burned down. They have been ransacked, and of course there is a rising India sentiment as well, primarily led by the extremist forces. Now, we know that yesterday night there were attempts to protest near the Indian missions in various places like Rajshahi, Khulna, and others. But one visual that has been striking is the protest in front of the Indian mission in Chattogram. That's primarily because that's also directly on the road as well. There was no untoward incident when it comes to the Indian High Commission in Dhaka, but of course concerns remain. Earlier this week, we saw protests happening near the Indian High Commission, but authorities, local authorities, the Bangladeshi authorities were able to make sure that the protesters do not reach the mission, and security remains at high alert when it comes to the Indian missions across Bangladesh. But essentially, how things pan out, we'll get to know soon. We know that on Saturday there is a day of mourning that has been announced for Mr. Hadi, who died in Singapore, the Bangladeshi politician, the student leader whose body is being brought back to Bangladesh. The flags will be at high half-mast, and the Bangladeshi chief advisor Mohammad Yunus yesterday night said that they will investigate and find out who was responsible when it comes to the incident, the killing of Hadi. So it's been carefully and watched across the region, and of course here in India.
Right, Siddhant, and given the visuals that we're getting, it does depict a rather unsettling reality on the ground. And given the current political development in Dhaka and the unabated anti-India rhetoric which was brazenly on display, what direction do you see the India-Bangladesh relations taking at this juncture?
Well, I do see the relationship will be strained for some time, and we have seen that the relationship has been strained since last year when Muhammad Yunus took charge. Of course, his comments and the political comments, the inflammatory statements being made by the politicians there are not helping the relationship. We also know that how there are extremist elements who are essentially seen at the forefront in the Bangladeshi politics. So we have seen a change in the political scenario in Bangladesh. The country goes to elections in February. I do expect before the February elections there could be more violence, more inflammatory statements. And of course, more protests. Next 1 month, 1.5 months will be carefully watched. We know the US has issued advisory for the entire country. We also know that when it comes to the 12th of February elections, there will be increased security presence on the ground as well. How Bangladeshi leadership, the political leadership handles it will be watched, but it is for sure, it looks like that there will be more violence in the country.
Of course. Thank you, Siddhant, for getting us all those details. That was our Assistant Editor for Foreign Affairs, Siddhant Sibbal, joining us on the phone line.